People keep asking me, Edmund, what is this MD that you're talking about? Today, I'm going to show you exactly the second brain that I've built. Let's take a look.
My second brain. It contains everything that I've been working on since the inception of this project. So let me show you around. There are mainly 5 things. We have the user, which is myself. Graveyard is another word for trash can. Images, you can see certain images of the projects I've been working on, and even a picture of handsome me. And shared is where we share items or we receive the shared items of others. Vault is where we have certain automation, skills, and even like workflows that will be triggering every day or every week. Now, the exciting part is within the user itself. This is where I keep almost everything related to me, including the people I've met through my university days, through events, seminars, hackathons, so on and so forth. And also, perhaps something that is more interesting maybe is also like the books I've read before. So these are some of the books like Deep Work, written by Cal Newport, or Do It Today, Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and Ikigai as well. And these are the things that I've learned from the book. I jotted it down, and this is where I can refer to it again in the future. Now, take note that this part, right, is not meant to be written by humans. How we use it is that we can copy the LM prompt. We go to our favorite LM provider and just paste in the prompt and say that, okay, tell me what is this book about. And how this works is that it is actually an MCP server that you can read upon. You can let Claude to read upon the second brain and get the information out of it. So as you can see, this is the start of a new chat, but it can directly retrieve the information from the second brain itself. So I don't need to keep copy and pasting it again and say that, okay, this is what I read from the book. Can you use this to recommend me something? That's what I'll be doing now. For example, cool. How can I apply that to this morning? So I can just kickstart a new conversation here. There you go. Right, so what else can we do with MD? Of course, it's not just for book reading. What I like to use most is actually to use it to build my projects. Here in projects, you can see that there's a list of several projects I've been working on. Atlas is my capstone project, EE is my other startup, and MD is what we're working on today. I am using MD to build MD. Now, within MD, we have things like context, so like what is this project about? And we also have things like brand, so like what is MD actually about? And also, things like looking at the sprints, these are actually written by AI itself. So you can see it looks actually like what is the acceptance criteria, what is the dependency, right? These are really well written, like I would say requirements for AI to read and then perform the building itself. So you can see that every single sprint, it is really well written out. Note that it's not written by humans. It's written by AI in the form of a markdown file. So you can see that there's a single hashtag, double hashtag, even the angle symbol here, so on and so forth. And how we use this is similar as well. We can just copy the LM prompt, we head to a terminal, and we can just Control V, paste it in here, and you can just click enter and then it starts building on its own. So the idea of this is that we can proceed to build our project deeper and better without being scattered too much. And we are also building on top of the progress of previous work. So this actually allowed me to, instead of being spontaneous and build 5 or 6 projects at the same time, I'm currently really focused on just 1 or 2 projects, but we build very, very deeply. We are fixing the bugs, we're introducing better features, we are trying to optimize it as well to be more token efficient, token conservative. So this is how we work together really, really well. Probably some of you would say that, hey, MCP is very token expensive. Is there a CLI for it? Yes, there is, because of I would say a rising demand of the MD tool, and people have been saying that, hey, can you make it more token conservative? So 4 days ago, we have launched the CLI for it, and you can actually just install this in your Claude code, and you can actually use 4 times the usage as compared to using MCP. Though the MCP still has its reason to exist, because for non-technical people, when they don't use Claude Code and they only use Claude AI or Claude Web, right, the MCP is still necessary for them. Therefore, I would say these are both structures in place to cater for different use cases. If you're more technical, you know what CLI is about, it's free for you to use. What else can you actually do with MD? So at this point, as well, some of you might think that, hey, what you're showing, isn't this very similar to what Obsidian is? And in fact, Obsidian is running locally on your own computer. Isn't that more safe, more secure? Yes, I give those perks directly to Obsidian. But the thing is, for Obsidian, it is a one-player thing. Means that whatever you have written is only for yourself. And when you say that, hey, I want to share this with my friends, right? You can't really do that. The best you can do is you can export a PDF file and show it to your friends. But your friends can't really access your brain. So for me, what I did is that I employ the how we do things with Google Drive, you know. So for example, I go to my personal, and then in books here, right, you can see that there's a share button here, and I can make this public, and there's this copy link. When if I open it up, right, this is actually a publicly accessible site, something similar to what Notion is as well. And I can share the informations that I've learned, the knowledge that I've got from certain books, right? And I can share this with my friends and so on and so forth. And not just that, this is not just read only. If need be, what I can do for, let's say, my projects, right? When I go to projects, let's say double lead, this is a project that I'm co-working with 5 people, right? So what I'll do here is I will name a certain name, like here. This is one of my co-founder. Another one will be, let's say, Kieran at gmail.com. I can give them write access, right? And then once I do this, from their side, they can access my brain as well. And you can imagine this project, the knowledge is getting deeper and deeper. The sprints are writing more complete, more complex. And from there, what happens is that we can co-collaborate together on the works together. I'll give you an example. In here, signals is where one of my co-founder, the sales co-founder, would approach the clients and customers and get all the feedbacks and complaints. For example, hey, the UI should give the user more choice, or like, or the manager should have more freedom, should have more authority, or like we need to have a one tap button. So for me, right, in the past, my co-founder would type all these messages in Telegram and like, hey, Edmund, please solve these issues for me. But nowadays, I just go like, hey, Kieran, just write into your Claude, save it into EMDEE. You know what? Tomorrow, I will let my Claude copy this LM prompt and say that, okay, Kieran wrote this. Can we zoom in and inspect how to overcome this issue? And there you go. Context is settled really nice and easy without the copy and paste from Telegram. Okay, and then you need to like discuss, because sometimes, remember, what your co-founder told you might not be what you collect 100%, but what your co-founder tells his AI is 100% understood properly. So from there, we can also reduce the misunderstanding between the sales co-founder and the tech co-founder.
Yep, and that will be today's sharing on what EMDEE is. I hope this answered some of the questions of how EMDEE actually works. And don't worry, I will continue to improve this project, and hopefully this can help more people to use AI properly and better, especially collaborating with your teammates. I created this because I joined so many hackathons, and I felt that every time I'm working on something, my teammates destroy it. But hey, now, problem solved.